Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new video, another league racing video. This is round 5 or 6, I don't know, we're quite a way into the championship now. But at one of my favourite tracks, Kyalami in South Africa, an amazing circuit. I think if they're going to add any new racetrack to the F1 calendar, it should be this one. This one is brilliant, I love this track, it's so good for racing. And it's just awesome, I love it. And in Mintley, as always, for this season, Mintley felt pretty good here, yeah. So we're going to warm up our tyres here on the out lap for what's going to be our best lap in qualifying and see where it puts us. So you can see we've done a 41.853 already. Not a bad lap, could go quicker though, so let's see where we can gain that time. Steaming into turn 1 with the camber sloping away from the apex. It's quite a tricky corner to master, but we gain maybe a half a tenth there into the long left, using lots of curve in this car as it can take it, using all the exit curve, and that was pretty good first sector. Down into the fast right then, really technical fast corner, you've got to get that apex just right. Tiny bit of grass on the inside, bit of curb on the exit, and we're through. You see we've gained on Marmalotto in front of us in the Lexus, so it must be a pretty decent lap. There's a yellow flag in sector 3, but we're in sector 2, so that doesn't matter. Using lots of curb in the chicane. Again, another great feature of the Bentley, it can absolutely eat the curves. Marmal backs out of his lap, lets us through. Braking at the little Marshall post up towards the hairpin, using lots of curb on the inside. As always, there's going to be a running theme of that. And yeah, completing the lap here into sector 3, you can see about a tenth and a half up on a 41.8, so it's looking like a low 41.7. Braking at the 100 board into the hairpin, you can see JDM there off on the hairpin, so there's a few distractions this lap, but those are not going to affect us too much. Into the fast right, probably the most difficult corner on the track. You see using lots of exit curve, with 2 and a bit tenths up, with slightly wide of the apex on the final corner, and I'll probably lose just under a tenth there, so that's going to cost us as we come across the line, but it's still going to be a 141.7. At the time of qualifying, it puts us second. And will we stay there? Marmalotto has not improved, and we do end up staying there for the minute. So P2 for this first race, which could be a very good race from that starting position. So getting to 43 miles an hour, and the green lights go out. Side by side with JDM, we actually get a better launch than him in the Mercedes, but he's going to have that V8 grunt. We're going to try and pin him a little bit to the inside, but it doesn't really work. We don't want any contact on this first lap, so we're just going to try and hang it around the outside. He parks it on the apex, nothing I can really do, so we'll just have to stick him behind now. And we defended nicely there from Marma, so he can't get through either. So yeah, pretty good clean start there. Just want to try and follow JDM. He is extremely quick in that Mercedes and real pace, so once the tyres get up to temp, hopefully we can try and keep with him. You can see already the understeer on that first lap without the tyres getting to their desired pressures. So you're about 26.1, 26.2 on the fronts. Those need to be about 27.7, so it'll take a good lap and a half for those to actually get up to temperature. You can see we've already somewhat dropped Marma. He's 1.1 seconds behind Luke, then another second behind that. So me and JDM are already trying to break away here. I'm only 0.4 of a second behind going into the hairpin. He goes very deep on the hairpin, brakes also not up to temperature, and yeah, we tried to get a good exit there, got on the power a little bit too early, the car almost snapped away from us there, but nothing really coming off it, which is good. Braking into the second hairpin then, 100 meter board as usual, taking lots of curb on the inside and modulating the power because it's very easy to get a track warning on the exit there. Into the fast right, just tiny clip of the curb, but nothing much there, and you can see we've managed to hold on to JDM in this first lap, so I was pretty happy with that because he was looking extremely quick all season. So 147s, 148s to go, but that's from a rolling start. A couple of laps later, I'm setting fastest laps of the race of 41.9 in the race there, so I'm almost matching my quali pace. I'm only 2 tenths off my quali pace already on this third lap, and you can see that hasn't allowed JDM to run away up the road. and I'm right on his gearbox. So if we can size up a move here as he goes wide, but I sort of follow, which is unfortunate. Mama has not dropped away either, so we've got to be careful of him. Skipping down, coming through the fast left into the hairpin, completely flat out corner that fast left into the sharp right hander. You can see just how much we gain on the brakes. He gains a little bit on exit, but that's okay because he's going to yeet the curb, go really wide into the gravel, and we are back into the lead. We are into the lead of this race. If we can just hold on now, then it could be our first win of the season. So let's see what we can do. JDM still only 0.6 behind, a bad lap for him at 43.5. We're doing a 42.2, so again only about half a second off our quali pace. Car felt really good, and you can see JDM is going to get a massive snap of oversteer on the first corner. That treacherous, with the way the corner sort of shadows away from the apex, can really catch people out when you're trying to get on the power, and you can see it is caught JDM out there, and that's going to give us some nice breathing room. By the time we're a couple of laps in with 11 minutes to go, we have got a comfortable lead. We have not pitted yet though, other people have pitted, so it will depend when we pit and where we come out that will decide the result of this race. But you see Luke 50 something seconds behind, see he's taking his pit stop. We're going to take our pit stop now. Going to be very careful on pit entry there. Did not want to speed because a stop go 30-second penalty would not be good at this point in the race. Do not want to bottle a win at this point. Into the pit box then. We'll try and stop on the marks. Not bad, but could have been better. But we go straight up on the jacks, and then with the magic pivoting, 30-second pit stop goes by in a flash, and we're going to come out back in the lead. Luke only 7 seconds behind. JGM is in 4th. He's had a nightmare of a race from that mistake. And Luke coming across the line, and we are going to come out in the lead. So we have managed to keep our lead in the pit stop. Our pit stop ended up being good enough to keep the lead. And all we've got to do now is 9 minutes to the end. See if we can hold on. And this could be our first ever league race win. Here we go then, starting the final lap as leader. 22 laps completed, just one more to go. Braking as usual, the 100 board into the hairpin, using the curb on the inside. You can see our pace has been pretty insane. 42.4 on our last lap, even on worn tyres. And look at this, we are gonna come through to win. If we could just hold on this final lap to win our first ever league race. A couple corners to go, about 10, 11 corners to go. Just got to hold on. Luke 7 seconds behind, no threat from behind, no lap traffic in front of us. We've just got to hit every apex as we have done for the last 20 laps and bring this car home to its first victory. Mintley will get its first victory in Thursday Night Race League if we can just bring it home. Again, braking at the marshal's post for the hairpin. No pressure now, we've got to try and just lay the power on nice and gently as we do there. Traction control engaging just a tiny bit, there's nothing to worry about. Again, he's still 8 seconds behind his Luke, so we have got no threat from behind. We've just got to bring it home into the hairpin. Can we do it? Rounding out the last couple of corners, we are going to bring Mintley home for its first ever victory at Thursday Night Race League. My first ever league race victory at Kyalami. We win the sprint, the first sprint round at Kyalami, and our first ever league race win. I was buzzing with this. What a result. Not even difficult. I mean, come on guys, give me a challenge at least. Luke finishes about 7-8 seconds behind. No threat from him, no threat from JDM after that mistake. And we win our first ever league race. First ever league race. Great points in the championship, 20 points there from that win. And that's going to really help us in the championship there. You see Luke on the left hand side congratulating us. But yeah, that is the result. We win. Can we replicate it in the second sprint for another 40 minutes? Let's hope so. And we're going to see what we can do in this next qualifying session. But there you go, there's confirmation. 7.6 seconds ahead, not even close. Our first ever win. Let's see if we could do it in the next qualifying session, qualifying 2 for this next sprint. Our first ever league race, let's go. Our first ever league race victory. Brilliant result. There's still another race to go, so let's get this one another victory. Okay, so we're going to start quali here now. Confirmation there, brilliant result. So yeah, we're going to start quali here. We did a 41.7 in the first qualifying session. Let's see what we can do on our best lap here in the second qualifying session. So you can see we're provisional third at the minute. Our best is a 41.9, so slightly slower than what we've been doing previously, but I think the track temperature's changed slightly. It got a little bit hotter. You can see the clouds are a bit more distant. But yeah, you can see we're equalled our first corner there of our best lap. There's someone off in the barrier there who goes back to pits. And yeah, you can see we're slightly down on the delta as it's red in the top left corner there, but through the fast right, 4th gear, short shift to 3rd, back to 4th to keep the grip. And you see no understeer in this big minty Bentley here. And yeah, hooking up the apex well there. And yeah, we're doing pretty good. Again, are we going to use the curb? Not as much curb as last time, but on the second apex, using lots of curb. We've got Kaiser in front of us. Hopefully, we do not catch him up too much by the end of the lap, or he lets us go. But yeah, you can see, again, we're into the green delta now. We're about 10th up into the hairpin, so that is where we have gained quite a bit of time. It's come back down just under a 10th on exit though, so we're going to have to get a really good last sector hit to put it on pole, or at least on the front row, with now provisionally 4th, which is not great. Just keeping it within track limits, so the exit of the hairpin. We're about 10th up again through the fast right. Not using as much curve that time. The car is hooked up quite nicely into the last corner. Again, not really finding the apex quite as much as we like. We lose a tiny bit of time, but we're still at 10th and a bit up to come across the line. It's a 1:41.820, so not quite as quick. About 10th off of my lap in the first quali, and it ends up getting us only 4th place. So Luke, Mama and Dazza, a surprise pole from Dazza there, a really good result and qualifying from him. JDM actually ends up behind us in that quali, so we out-qualify him. But yeah, we're going to start the race here, getting up to 43 miles an hour, as close as we can to it, before the lights go green now. Go, green flag. You see we get a decent launch. Mum's already got Dazza off the start, so Dazza caught napping on the start. You can see it's 3 wide, and then Luke is just going to turn across JDM, and we are going to get wiped out in the process. I'm holding my brakes, but I'm an absolute passenger at this point, and we get pushed into the first corner. So an absolutely awful start to that race here, and you can see it's just absolute ping pong. I mean, is this racing or is it ping pong? As in the words of Sebastian Vettel, that was more like ping pong to me. So yeah, not a good start at all. We are down to something like 6th or 7th or something, so not really even in the points. Not good points anyway, not championship good points. But you see we're behind Luke. We've got a massive 24 seconds of damage from that, so he got hit probably at least 2-3 times. Big hit, one in the side from the first contact, and then we were just pushed down the track sideways. I was holding my brake, so it wasn't to cause too much incident, but once you're sideways across the track, there's not a lot you can do. You're just a passenger at that point. You see Luke goes deep there. The recurring theme, JDM did that on the first lap of the first race, so obviously people struggling with that braking zone when the brakes are not quite up to temperature. But you can see we're going to stick behind Luke as best we can. We're probably going to pit at the end of this lap. You see JDM right behind us. I'm actually trying to fiddle with the pit MFD. I can see Yuri coming back on the track. I'll give JDM a tiny squeeze, just let him go, and I'm going to pit in, even if that costs me a position. I did not want to mess up this pit strategy. So yeah, not great multitasking from me, but you know, it hasn't been a great race anyway, so we're going to fix that damage. 55 seconds of damage now, so even worse. put a little bit of fuel in, 25 litres of fuel, change those tyres, because that is the mandatory pit stop to change those tyres, and hit our marks. Up on the jacks we go, and a 55-second penalty, pit stop even, is magically edited away down to about 2 seconds, so you're welcome people. That felt like an absolute age when I was sitting there for almost a minute on the jacks, just not going anywhere. So you can see, I mean, the leaders are actually coming around the final corner now as I'm starting the lap, so we almost got lapped there. That's how long that pit stop was. I'd say if that was another 10 seconds, we would have had to have let the leaders go, with Daza and Marma particularly. You can see there Dean in third, so he's having a good race so far out of all that carnage. You can see by about 23 minutes to go, we caught up with Yuri in sixth in the Ferrari. Beautiful machine that, and a nice livery as well. And yeah, you can see it goes a bit deep there on the hairpin. I'm going to try and size him up for a move into the fast right potentially, but it's not a great overtaking place, so he keeps it pinned there. Nice. Can't really go for it on the final corner, but are we going to get a good exit? He goes wide again out of the final corner. We're going to try and get a good exit and slipstream that Ferrari. The Ferrari is very good in a straight line though compared to this car. Yuri weaves to defend his position, that is fine, but his next move will be crucial. He goes inside. I'm going to brake on the 100 board, and I think he just completely misjudges his braking point and goes straight on, unfortunately. But apart from that, it was good defence there by Yuri, but we are through into 6th place, so we have a few positions and a bit of time to gain. You can see some of the leaders going in, so Daza is in the pits, Dean is 20 something seconds ahead, and by the end of the race I just couldn't claw that back. I ended up getting it half of what it was, so down to about 10 seconds. But that is going to end a pretty disappointing second race. But overall, this round, a pretty good race, to be honest. I couldn't really ask for more than that, to be honest. After that instant, 6th place isn't too bad with the turnout of people here. So yeah, we're going to come across the line for 6th. 1 win, 1 6th place. So good handful of points there, but a bit of sweet one in the end. But I'm happy. I've got my first league race victory in Mintley, and my first league race victory ever. But yeah, that is the standings, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see you very soon. We have got 2 more rounds of this championship to go. We've got see this fight here for 7th place. We've got 2 more rounds. We've got I'm trying to remember now, Barcelona and one other, but great fight here, and you can see that the 2 separated by 1,000th there. Yeah, that is it from this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you have, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye.